All righty. I think we are officially live here this Wednesday morning. It is January 26th, and we are going to kick off this Wednesday coffee talk with we're going to discuss some cool little findings here that I'm really going to be doubling down on. And I know I've said doubling down quite a bit here lately, but it's true. And one of the main reasons is because it's working. And so today, one of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you, and I'm actually going to share my screen here to show you some of the statistics, some of the data, but really how thread or one keyword vein, as I like to call it, because I love Gold Rush, love talking, gold terminology and, sluicing and things like that. But it's really cool because as you find these, there's no sense in overcomplicating it. It's just like go and, sluice all of the dirt that you have. In this case, go after all of the keywords that you can and just create that content. I actually did a coaching call yesterday with one of our BCA members, and we went over this exact topic and this going after keyword veins, and we found one that he was doing well with, and kind of started asking, what else should I do now? You keep digging, keep sluicing. Why are you stopping? We aren't through the pay yet, right? So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But I did want to jump on here and share this, and I will kick this off officially. But I always do this just to kind of get the feed live because Facebook likes to, hold back the reach and all of that stuff. Still not figuring out 100% like why. So we'll figure that out another time, or we won't even bother. But I did want to remind you, if you are watching this and it is January 26th or 27th, 28th, 29th, because we'll probably have a replay up, we are doing a web class tonight, and it will be at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And it is basically the entire process broken down in around 60 minutes. And then from there, I'm going to be answering some Q&A as far as building these niche properties and really what we have kind of zoned in on and what we are using ourselves to build our own niche properties, but also to help beginners. Because if we can just cut that learning curve, if we can cut down the frustration, the overwhelm, that's what we want to do. And over the last 2 years since doing this, we've learned a ton. And so what I decided to do is do a web class. Now, this web class I taught only one other time, so I'm going to be teaching it again. And I will be there to do it live as far as answering questions and all of that stuff. So if you do have questions, and if you missed the last one, you'll probably want to attend this one. If you attended the last one, you'll probably want to attend this again, because I've had people in the past when I do these, these web classes, and if I do it over and over and over again, because I'm trying to do it for new people that are coming in, I get people that come back 6, 7, 8 times to watch it again and again and again, because they pick up one new thing that they might have missed the first time. So I would encourage you to join us. If you are interested, if you have not yet registered to attend this live workshop, this web class, head on over to brandcreators.com/workshop. Again, that's brandcreators.com/workshop. Now, again, we are going to be breaking this entire thing down. I'm going to be actually showing you some niche hacking that I'm doing or that I did, and I'll show you how I did it and how I discovered a few really cool niches. And one of them is very strange, but it works. And it also gave me some ideas for how you could apply this to other sub niches. So that's there. And then I'm also going to be breaking down how you can really get this thing up and running without being a tech whiz and without being a writer, a good writer at all. And I even have it on the registration page that even if you failed English class, you could do this. So I'm going to be sharing that, how to hire writers and how to really offload some of that stuff, but also how I do this over the course of 3 hours a week to manage not just one, but currently we have 5. So all of this stuff that I'm going to be sharing will help with that, but it'll also give you a big picture of what it really takes and what you should be focusing on. All right. And so if you have not yet registered, make sure you do. brandcreators.com/workshop. That will be happening tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time. If you're watching this or if you're here live on January 26th, it will be happening live 9 p.m. Eastern time. Try to show up a few minutes early, 10 minutes early, get in the room, make sure there's no glitches. If you're on your phone, make sure that you get logged in. If you are on your computer, make sure that you get into the room. Say hi when you get in there, because we'll always be, seeing the people coming in, and we'll be able to say hello and kind of welcome you. And a lot of times there's some good conversation in that group when we get ready to get going. So if you, again, if you're available and you want to hang out with us, head on over tonight. All right. Check it out. And brandcreators.com/workshop. And we'll break everything down for you. All right. And I did send out an email about that, so you should have received that if you're on my email list. All right. So guys, let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I'm going to turn this off. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave that on. Let's just do that. Okay. So let's go ahead and make sure that my screen is sharing. It is. That is good. All right, cool. Good. Guys, if you can see that, just give me a thumbs up in the comments, or just say, yes, you can see everything is looking good and sounding good. Just give me an okay on that. All right, cool. And there's a little bit of a delay here, I think, this morning. So just make sure that everything is going good, and we'll get a rocking. There we go. Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Troy. All right, cool. So let's get rocking and rolling. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my notes. Got a few notes here, and we'll get rocking and rolling. All right, here we go. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast, The Coffee Talk. We are doing this live as well. But if you're listening to this on the podcast, it's not live. It's on the podcast. And if you want to be part of our live broadcast, head on over to takeactioncrew.com, and you can watch some of the past ones there. And you can see exactly what I'm going to be sharing here today, or you can just go to the show notes to this episode. All right. Now, before we get rocking and rolling here, I am going to be sharing. Let me just say what I'm going to be sharing here on this episode. I'm going to be sharing, and I'm going to be sharing my screen as well. So if you're not watching this because you're not here on a video or watching the video, then you won't be able to see me, but I will describe everything. So it will be very useful to you anyway. But before we get into this, I forgot something the other day. The episode before this was the 2000th episode of the podcast. I didn't even realize until afterwards. I looked and I go, oh my gosh, that was episode 2000. I should have probably did something for that. I probably should have did something special, but I didn't. Again, my head is down. I'm focused. I'm doing what I normally do. I'm staying consistent. And let's see, it's been over 6 years now. I got to look at the exact date. I think it was February of 15 or 16. I think it was. Maybe even, I think it was 15. Crazy, right? And so I just wanted to acknowledge that. And I wanted to thank you if you have been a listener of the podcast throughout the years. And I just, again, wanted to say thank you so much. And no, there's no big celebration for episode 2000, which I probably should have did something. So I don't know, maybe I'll do something coming up in the next couple of weeks. I don't know. I don't know if I need to. I think it's just important that we stay connected here, and we keep tuning in and keep moving forward, because that's what we need to do. And really, I did want to shine a little light on this. When I started the podcast, I had no idea if I was going to record more than 25 episodes. That's the truth. And I actually wrote about that in my book. So in my, the book, the Take Action Effect. If you haven't got a copy yet, you might want to head on over to Amazon and grab a copy. Just search the Take Action Effect by Scott Voelker. It's basically everything I've done up to this point. And part of that is that podcast. So yeah, check it out. But it's crazy, because if you look at things and you go, you know what, if I never kept going, where would I be right now? We don't know. I could be in a better place. I could be in a whole nother business. Who knows? But this is where it led me. This is where I feel as I need to be. This is where I need to be serving people like you and helping people, and also building the things that I'm building myself. So I just wanted to acknowledge that that we've done 2,000 episodes, and it's been an amazing ride, and I don't plan on going anywhere. And I just wanted to say thank you. I appreciate you. And if you have not yet left a review over on Apple iTunes or any of the other apps that you're listening to this in, if you could do me a big favor and do that. If you've been listening for any period of time and you've gotten something out of this podcast, go there, write about it, let me know. And I might even give you a shout out on one of the upcoming podcast episodes. So yeah, I haven't really talked about leaving reviews in a long time. I probably should maybe do that more often. All right, let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. Today, like I said, we're going to be talking about this really interesting thing that happened, how one keyword generated 1,734 website visitors in 30 days. Now, that doesn't mean that I wrote the piece of content and it got ranked in 30 days, although it did. What I'm saying is it lasts 30 days from today, the day that I'm actually recording this. We had 1,734. And if you are watching this, okay, I actually have my screen up right now. So you can see that is the graph. Okay. That's in the Google Analytics for this one niche property. Now, the crazy thing is this same strategy that I kind of stumbled on, I'm now using across all of our niche properties. Okay. And I'm going to share with you how you can use this strategy, and you can go ahead and, do what you want with it. I would say you should probably test it. Because it's been doing really, really well. And I'm going to continue to do it. And actually, yesterday, I was just on a coaching call with one of our BCA members, and we were going over this. And I shared this with him probably 3 months ago. And he started to deploy it. He started to do it. And then now we looked at his indexing in Ahrefs. We looked at his traffic. Everything has gone up since we last talked, okay, on that call. And then his question to me was like, okay, so now I'm just curious, like, what else should I do? And I'm like, well, wait a minute here. Have you panned all of the dirt? Have you sluiced it all? I love using that terminology, guys, by the way, because I'm a big fan of gold rush. I think mining for gold is really very similar to keyword research and creating content and all that stuff. So that's why I kind of refer to that. So I said to him, I go, did you go through all of the, all of the different variations of this keyword vein that we found? And he was like, well, no, not really. And I'm like, then let's stop having this conversation. Like, go back to work. The pay dirt is not yet finished. You got to go finish it, right? You don't go and clear all of this dirt and take all the overburden off and then get to the bedrock and then you stop. You just go to a new place. You say, you know what, let me finish this up until I run out of gold, and then I'll find another piece of pay dirt and we'll go there. So that's really what it's all about. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So I've got literally probably 50 to 100 for each niche of mine, niche property that is, that I'm just going down this keyword vein. And when I find another one, if there's 30, I go with 30. If there's 50, I'll go with 50. And I don't bounce all over the place. Okay. And that's the key, is staying very, very consistent. So let me kind of break this down now. Now, this one keyword, this one piece of content, it's a long tail keyword. Okay. So it's not just one word, it's not like, well, even garlic presses too, but like garlic press, right? Remember those days? Garlic press. Everyone was talking about the garlic press. So if you guys are longtime listeners, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, you don't have a clue, and that's okay too. People used to think that I sold a garlic press because I always use that as an example, kind of like bass fishing. People would think that I'm in the bass fishing niche, which I'm not. So where was I now? Oh yeah. So I wanted to basically just break this down so you could see that once I was able to post this piece of content and then kind of track it, I was able to see, what could potentially happen. Now, a few things happened. Number one, we ranked very fast. And I say very fast. We usually like to allow 3 months to 6 months, depending on how old the site is and how competitive the keyword is. And so we posted this on October 4th. And I'll show you a graph of like month by month. So October 4th, the time that we're recording this and we're airing this, is going to be either end of January, beginning of February. So let's just say January, all is over with. So we have October, November, December, January. We have 4 months. Okay. 4 months. And this article is now getting, and this content is getting 1,734 visits per month. Okay. That's in 30 days. Okay. And again, I'll show you the month by month on how this has grown. The other thing I'll share with you is how this one keyword was only supposed to get 260 visits a month. Okay. So 260 visits is what it was supposed to get if I was looking at numbers, which I usually don't. And it's getting 1,734. So when you look at numbers, don't bet on the numbers, because the numbers are usually wrong. All right. And so you don't want to do that. So posted this on October 4th. And I'll give you an example of like a long tail keyword: best bass fishing in California. All right. So let's just say that was the keyword. Wrote the article, 1,500 words. Okay. 1,500 words. You're probably saying, was there any reason why 1,500 words? I like 1,500 words. We could have maybe did 1,250 and it might have did fine. We might have had to do 1,800. It might have did better. I don't know. 1,500 is a good baseline. It's less work for me to kind of figure out, okay, what is the top position? What are they, how many words do they have? How many images do they have? Like, I can do that if I'm going after something very, very competitive. But in this case, I'm just literally sluicing. I'm just putting it through, the sluice box, and I'm just sluicing that dirt. Let's just get it through. Are we going to have a few pieces of gold maybe that get left behind? They might. That's where we come into optimization later. But right now, we're just trying to get as much through as we can. Okay. So October 4th was the date that this was published. 1,500 words. There's 4 images in it. And that's it. Nothing else. We didn't even embed a YouTube video, which we normally do, which I need to talk to my content poster and optimizer, because normally we do put a YouTube video and there wasn't one in here, but it still ranked. So, okay, so be it. All right. So like I said, let's kind of look at this. Okay. I'm just going to show you the graphs and then I'll go ahead and I'll explain them if you're listening to this on the podcast, because you won't be able to see what I am talking about. All right. So again, this here is for a 30-day window. So you can see here the time that I'm recording this. Again, it's going to air differently on the podcast. December 27th, 2021 to January 25th, 2022. Okay. It's a full 30 days, 1,734 page views, 1,537 unique page views, average time on page 2 minutes and 58 seconds, which is remarkable, which is awesome. Once again, people stay on the site longer, shows Google that people like the content, and that gives them a signal that we should probably boost this up in the rankings. So that's all good. All right. And so now let me move over to what it looks like for keywords monthly. Okay. Or I'm sorry, for the traffic monthly. Okay. So if we're looking at all the way to the left of the graph there, when the post was first published and getting a little bit of traffic in October. Okay. So October, it was posted in the beginning of the month. By the end of the month, it started to get a little bit of traffic. It was under 150. Okay. Then as we go to November now was over 500. It was right around, it looks like 575-ish. Okay. Then if we move up into December, we jumped up over 1,000. So we doubled in December. Okay. And then as we go into January, we're up over 1,700. Like I said, 1,734 so far. Okay. In the 30-day window. So it'll be a little bit different because January's numbers are going to be January's numbers. Right now I'm doing the last 30, right? But this here is giving you like month to month. But at the pace that we're going right now, we should be able to probably get more. It'll probably be closer to 2,000. Okay. Because it's taking into consideration that December was lower, right? It was only 1,200, let's say. And now at last 30 is 1,734. All right. So that's kind of how it works. But if you look at even looking at this period of time, like I said, 2 minutes and 45 seconds on the page is really, really good. So I love that number. And if I just look at the last 30, it's 2 minutes 58. So it's staying pretty consistent. It's actually a little bit better. Now, I just kind of wanted to show you what it looks like. This is daily numbers. So if we're looking at this graph, and if you're listening to this, you don't see it, but it's just showing you that over the course of the time since it was published, Okay. You can see the dips, you can see the spikes, the dips, the spikes, and that's normal, but you can see it's going up, which is great. Okay. And total right now is 3,458 page views, over 3,000 unique page views over the course of that time. But 1,734 of them are in the last 30 days, which is really, really cool. All right. And guys, I'm going to share with you what you can do, what you can take from this and actually apply it. You can run off and go do it the minute you get done listening to this or watching this. So here's the myth, right? Here's the myth about keyword volume. If all you did was look at this right here. Now, this here, I blacked it out, obviously, for that keyword. So this keyword, if I was to look at it and target it, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to write this article. It gets 260 visits a month. That's what I'm expecting, right? If I was to look at these numbers, if I was new and I didn't know any better, if you weren't listening to a podcast like this, you wouldn't know, right? But that says 260. That's what I'm supposed to get for this keyword if I get to page 1, by the way. Well, let's kind of go back and look at what it actually is getting, 1,734. So it's way off. And one of the main reasons it's way off, this is why I say never, ever just look at the number. Even if the number is 0, does not mean you're not going to get traffic. Okay? Because here's the deal. That keyword will get multiple variations from that. You can see this in Ahrefs. This is also stuff that we share inside of our Brand Creators Academy, where we actually show kind of over the shoulder, showing the different keywords that are ranking for 200 plus keywords on top of the one keyword that you actually targeted. All right. So just always keep this in mind. And I'm really just sharing this with you so you don't get discouraged if you're looking at an article, or also don't just look at articles, or keywords that are getting 1,000 searches a month. You're like, I only want to go after stuff that says it gets 1,000. Wrong. You're going to miss out on a ton of golden nuggets. You really, really, truly are. All right. So this, I just wanted to share with you because I thought that was interesting. This is the keyword, only 260, that we're getting 1,734 in 30 days. Okay. And it's growing. Okay. So don't look at that. Now, here's another example of another keyword using the same strategy. Okay. And the same keyword vein that I was going down. Okay. 1,278 in the last 30 days. Okay. So again, not too bad. And this one here was posted around the same time. So if you look at this, if I go back, let me just go back into the monthly again. If you're looking at this, if you're going after keywords that are low competition, okay, and you have a site that's got relevancy, so this site has got relevancy, okay, you're going to be able to rank probably, not always, faster, okay? You're going to be able to rank faster. All right. So you can see it clearly right here. Yes, the first month that we posted it and it was getting indexed and it was starting to show up, it got a very little bit of traffic. It got like under 200. Okay. But then the following month in November, boom, there we are. So we know that it's ranking on page 1, okay, in November to get that kind of traffic. And then in December, we know we are. And I actually just looked and we're in position number 1 for this keyword. Okay. So yeah, it definitely works. The other key here to take away from this is why you want to create lots of content, right? Because you're going to get some of these that are doing this. There's some of them that are only going to get you 300, but that's fine. I'm okay with that because if you have 10 of these at 300, you're at 3,000, right? So it's easy for these to add up. Some of them will also do well, then they'll taper off, then they'll do well, then they'll taper off. It's normal. The more content we have out there, the more of these, right? That's why if we can find a nice keyword vein to kind of really go deep into and to, continue to dig, but continue to sluice that, right? I love that sluicing. And then we can go ahead and clean all of that up, and then we can move into another one, right? It just makes life a lot easier. Like some people say, like, Scott, well, how do you only work on keyword research for an hour a week? Well, it's very easy. I do this right here. And when I do it, I can come up with 50 different keywords like that. And then I'm done. And to be quite honest, I wouldn't even need to do keyword research unless I'm doing a huge content blitz, which we are actually going to start doing on this one site right here. But if I wasn't doing a huge content blitz and I'm doing 3 articles, 4 articles a week, I only need 12 different topics for the month, right? You could do that in an hour. Okay. So just wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit. Now, let me kind of go in and give you an example of what this would look like for like a keyword vein. All right. So again, I shared before best bass fishing in Florida, best bass fishing in Georgia. And some people would think, well, yeah, but don't different boat companies rank better or local businesses rank better? They can, but you're also, again, not just going to show up for that one keyword. It's going to be for a variety of different ones. So I would not let that discourage you. All right. So here's a great example, okay, of a keyword vein. And again, if you can't see this because you're not watching it, I will go ahead and read this. All right. So all I did was I imagined that I was in the keto market. Let's say that we're in the keto market, which is very, very competitive. Okay. What could I do to find a keyword vein? And I'll give you an example on how you can do this, or I'll give you something you can do to help with this. But like right here, check this out. What is keto at Taco Bell? What is keto at McDonald's? What is keto at Starbucks? What is keto at Chick-fil-A? What is keto at Chipotle? What are keto diet foods? That's different. What is keto at Olive Garden? Okay. And then it goes into like, what can't keto eat? Here's another one. What is keto at Panera? What is keto at Subway? What is keto at Dunkin' Donuts? Very, very easy, right? And once you find that, guess what you're doing? You're basically going to write a piece of content on that. And then I know the question I'm going to get. Scott, how do you write 1,500 word article on what is keto at Taco Bell? Well, number one, you would create a list of the items that are there, but you would also probably want to talk about some of the pros and cons of that establishment. And probably you can even inside of that article talk about how it might be similar to a McDonald's or a Starbucks or a Chick-fil-A. And then guess what? We get to internally link back and forth to these articles, which creates a nice cluster, which Google loves. Okay. So don't let that stop you. We've actually went through this in our content creation workshop where we actually break down outlining, which is super simple to do. You're really just going to answer the question, and then you're going to elaborate on your answer. That's it. In this case, we're going to go over different food types and things like that. And we're going to talk a little bit about, the different pros and cons probably of Taco Bell and McDonald's and Starbucks and all those things. But this is just one example. Very similar to, best bass fishing in fill in the state, fill in the area. There might be a localized area that you would go, like very local, like a certain city or something like that. So this is where I like to play because it's super, super simple to do, and this is the exact type of keyword that's giving us that 1,734 visits. Okay. And there's a bunch more that we have that are getting traffic. Like I showed you that other one that's getting 1,200 something. I have other ones that are, again, around the same age, 800. Some are getting 450. Some are getting 600, right? But right now, we're just sluicing. We're just putting it all through, right? And we're creating content, posting it, creating content, posting it, right? So now we have a system in place. That's why it's so important to understand how this all works. But then really when it comes down to it, once you get everything set up, you picked your niche, you did all that validation piece, you got your website built, all of that stuff. Now it's just a matter of going through and creating, a list of keywords, creating content, posting and optimizing. And then yes, later, after 6 months, 8 months, we can look at content, see how it's doing, how it's performing, and see if there's anything that we can optimize that we might be able to take from page 2 to page 1 and boost traffic without even creating any new content. So that's the other advantage of doing all of this. All right. So that's what I wanted to share with you there. Let me go ahead and I'm sure that we will have questions as well. But if you're here on the podcast, you can't really ask those questions live because you're not here. If you'd like to be here live, you can head on over to takeactioncrew.com. Or I should have mentioned this too. You could join our workshop. which we're going to start doing. I believe we're going to do these monthly, not 100% sure yet, but we are going to be doing one. If you're listening to this, if you're here live, we'll be doing one soon. If you're listening to this after when it airs, we'll be doing one in February. So again, you can go to brandcreators.com/workshop and you can see the details there. All right. And we'll take you through more of this type of stuff too, but we'll also give you the high level of what needs to happen to build one of these and really how you can do it in less than 3 hours a week. Okay. It doesn't have to be a long drawn out process once you learn this. All right. So the last thing I wanted to leave you with though, is I wanted to give you that little, like really how to find these keyword veins. Like I kind of showed you an example of one there, but here's a simple approach here. Okay. So number one, find your competition. Your competition is going to help you. And one way of doing this is if your site is brand new, is find your competition. A lot of times you can do this just by putting in your maybe a search term that you just comes off the top of your head and you find one there, right? And then you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then what you can do in Uber Suggest is you can take that URL, that website, and put it in to find more sites that are like that. And then what we'll do is we want to find sites that have a low domain authority score, or if you have an existing site, lower than yours. And then what we want to do is look at their content and see what has been doing well for them, what has been ranking for them. And then what we can do is get inspiration from that. They might have started to go down a little keyword vein and then they stopped, right? And then you're like, oh my gosh, if they just would have went deeper with that thing, we could have gotten 50 new pieces of content. So that's one way that you can do this, okay? And get ideas without even having to hardly do the work yourself. Let another site that's already kind of started help you. And then the other thing is really sit down and think, is there something like this here in your niche that you could apply this to, right? Like, so the Taco Bell thing, right? Like, what is keto at Taco Bell, right? So maybe there's something you can do around your market like that. Again, every niche is going to be different. Another example of this would be, like I said, best bass fishing in Florida, best deep sea fishing in Florida, whatever, right? Like there's a whole bunch there that you can do with that. The other one that you could go down that road of different keyword veins is something like topical. So if you have something that is around maybe a brand, right? And I don't mean parts and kind of like reviews. I mean like things around that John Deere tractor, right? So maybe what you're going to do is you're going to come up with something that you're like, okay, there's a lot of questions about the John Deere tractor. So John Deere is the topical thing. And then you're going to come up with all of these questions around John Deere. So that's another way of doing this and finding that vein to go down. Then you move over to a different brand or a different category. All right. So with that all being said, let's see here. I think that is about wrapping things up. I think that's what I had to share with you guys. And I hope that you guys got a ton of value from this. And I hope that you end this podcast and you start looking for some keyword veins that you could explore. And I think that will really, truly help you. So let's go ahead and see if we do have any questions. I am going to end the podcast right here, though. So again, if you want to ask any questions, there's a couple different ways you can do it. One, you can head on over to takeactioncrew.com and get or be part of our morning crew. That happens over on Facebook. And then the other way is join one of our workshops. Head on over to brandcreators.com/workshop. And you can ask questions there, because when we do these live, we hang out to answer any questions just in case you have any. So guys, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me. Again, I want to thank you for being a listener, celebrating our 2001 episode. I should have did this on 2000, but I missed it. But again, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you. And if you would do me a huge favor, head on over to iTunes, leave a review over there. Let me know, what is something that you've learned or has been inspiring to you, or whatever, what has helped you the most from listening to this podcast. And I would appreciate it if you do that over on iTunes or your podcast app that you're listening to this with. All right. So guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, take care, take action, have an awesome, amazing day. And I will see you right back here on the podcast, Coffee Talk, and get on out there, make it happen. Cut. All right, guys. I think that is officially going to wrap it up. So, a couple questions. I think I thought I enrolled, but was oh, thanks for the reminder. Yeah. And honestly, if you're in BCA, I mean, obviously you can attend, but this will be an overview for you guys. But if you are not in BCA and you are new to this niche property thing, or you just want to kind of go through it again, then definitely I would encourage you to show up. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I really do enjoy sharing this. I've been listening since the Amazon days. That's awesome. So it's been I can't believe how long it's been. Okay, cool. So how do you validate the keyword that has zero traffic in research, and how do we know it does not get zero? Are you going to look for other variations of the same keyword, and should it have traffic numbers in research? Or is that what we test the zero keyword and only can see once the number shows up in analytics? Yeah. Okay. So I would always say, I would start by trying to find something that gets a minimum of 10. That way there, at least it's on the map, but I have done quite a few that had zero. So in the very beginning, I'm not so much worried about traffic numbers because I just want to get relevancy anyway. If you're telling me that your site is 6 months old and you have 50 pieces of content on there, then I would say, you know what, let's kind of make our threshold where we want to look at keywords that get a minimum of 40 searches per month, something like that. But I would not just chase the ones that get high volume, because you will be missing out on a lot of great keywords. Okay. So there is a little bit of, I'm going to throw some stuff up against the wall, and some of it's just not going to stick, and that's okay. But you will also learn that by doing it and then proving to yourself that, wow, this said it didn't get any search traffic, but it's getting search traffic, I should probably do more of that. So sometimes you just have to prove it to yourself. But I would say, if you wanted to, just go after the other thing to do. And here's a great thing to do. Exactly what I said earlier. Find some competition in your niche that has a low domain authority, something 10 or less, and see what content they're ranking for, right? And then just start there, right? And kind of go down that road, because they may be ranking for stuff that you would have seen a zero, but it really doesn't, get a zero. It gets 100 visits a month, 1,000 visits a month. So that's something that I would definitely do. Relevancy score means being relevant to the market without just traffic numbers. I mean that as you post content on your site, your site is starting to be crawled by Google. It's being indexed. It's being known for that topic or for that niche. That's what I'm talking about. So like if Google was to scrape your site, it's going to automatically know that you're in this niche because you talk about different various things about it. Let's see. Oh, hope to attend and get the link. If you don't get the link, this is a great thing. I'm glad you brought this up, Salma. If you don't get the link, I'm sending out multiple emails today, actually, by the way. If you don't get the link, just go to brandcreators.com/workshop. That page will redirect to the live room. So just go there. Just a little insider there. Let's see. If you are passionate and want to go for a niche, what should you expect? For example, take longer to get traffic, etc. My only problem with, if you're passionate and you want to go for a niche and it doesn't have the traffic potential there, or it's too competitive, you could get frustrated before you get results and then not do it. So I would rather lean on something that is proven, and really just fall in love with that process, and get passionate about that. Because if you learn that, then you can apply it to anything that you're passionate about in the future. Let's see. Helene, thank you. It really seems like we were just celebrating 1,000. I know, it's crazy, right? Elizabeth, is there a tutorial for finding keywords in the academy? Yes, there is. There's actually, Elizabeth, if you go into the niche properties class, which is in there, there'll be a full section there. And if you go into the 30-day roadmap, there will be resources in there. Elizabeth, if you need help in the private, in the private group, just ask in there and we'll direct you to that resource. Okay, last question. If going for competitive niche, what to expect? expect that you're going to have to find really low competition keywords, which is going to be probably harder in a competitive niche. So that's why I'm saying it becomes harder. So we want to remove that hardness. we want to remove the ability to be able to get momentum. And that's why we really, really want to start with something that we know that there are some of these long tail keyword veins that we can go down. And really, one of the validation pieces could be is finding some of these sites that are getting they're ranking. They might not be getting a ton of traffic yet, but they're ranking for keywords in that niche. And then I would kind of learn from that. And then I would start exploring keywords around those topics. That would be probably my way of doing that. So yeah, so hopefully that helped you, Salma. And yeah, Elizabeth, no problem. Yeah, just post it in there. We'll get you hooked up. We've got resources in there for keyword research for sure. And a little side note here before I do finally wrap, Chris and I were just talking yesterday, and I think we're going to do a full keyword research, keyword mining training, where we're going to go through a few different strategies that we're using and kind of really go deeper into this what I just covered here today, and really kind of show exactly how to do it in a dedicated training for just that. In BCA, we do have dedicated training for that, but it's not a course all on its own. So we also want to help people that might not be in BCA and might not have heard of BCA yet, but they need that one thing right now. And it's a one way for us to help people outside of our little circle and bring people in as a paid lead magnet too, just to be quite honest with you. So we are going to be creating something there for keyword research, something coming. All BCA members will get that absolutely free. Another reason why you probably want to check out BCA. And you can do that by heading over to brandcreators.com/BCA. All right. So the workshop that's happening tonight, guys, I got to run. I still have some prep work to do for that. I also have a BCA office hours call, which we're going to be doing some website reviews this afternoon. So again, BCA members that are watching this, 3 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be going live for about an hour. We've got about 3 sites that we're going to be doing some website reviews on. So tune in, and we'll also have the recording if you can't make it for that. But tonight's workshop for everyone that is interested in building a niche property in 2022, brandcreators.com/workshop, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Get there early, bring a pad, bring a pen to write with, bring something to drink, and dedicate about an hour and a half. And that's about what it's going to take to go through that material. And I'm really excited to share it with you guys. So guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. Have an awesome, amazing day. Some of you I'll see at 3 p.m. Some of you I'll see at 9 p.m. Talk to you guys later.